Hey everybody, it's the Walker. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're hiking in the woods with my adventure bag, and one of those things I promised to do before was to review the headlamp that I have in the adventure bag, which is the Armytek Tiara A1, the standard version, not the Pro. Let's take a look at this. This is a 1 times AA headlamp, which can also take lithium-ion batteries. So you have kind of a wide range of batteries because you've got a bit of a wide voltage range. It's listed as 0.8 of a volt to 4.2 volts. So starting from the top of the range, going to the bottom, here's a lithium-ion battery. This is a 14500, 840 milliamp hours keep power, 3.7 nominal volts, but it comes off the charger of 4.2. Of course, we're on a slight hill here, so this is going to want to all, these are going to want to roll. Here is a Energizer Ultimate Lithium, a little bit higher, lower voltage, but around 1.7 or something like that. There is a that's an alkaline, around 1.5 volts. And here's Anyloop NIMH. And I believe this one right here is, I don't know, 1.4, 1.2, something like that. But in any case, you can run all these batteries. My preference are probably, I don't like these, the alkalines under high draw. Plus they can leak if you leave them in storage for a while. So these have been my three. This is my best cold weather battery. The Energizer Ultimate Lithium. This is my forever battery. 2,000 milliamp hours. Doesn't have the most storage, but it's got thousands of charges. Could stay charged for years. And it's just a very great battery for high draw. It's overall a good battery, Anyloop. And this is the battery I use the most. Would be this keep power protected lithium-ion battery. The reason why I run a protected battery with it is because, unlike the Pro version, I did a review of the Pro version, I'll put up a link to that, this will just keep drawing down the battery. There's no setting where I can set the cutoff at a higher voltage. So I need the protection circuit built into the battery so I don't over discharge it. Well, we might as well take a look at the, since I have the tail cap off. It has 2 O-rings, which is just excellent for keeping water out. And yes, we will be doing a water test for it. Nice threads. Look at the size of that spring. That's like a major nice spring. It's heavy. There's pros and cons of that, but the main pro, more mass. This is a big aluminum body, is going to distribute the heat away from the LED. Well, distribute, transfer, I don't know what you call it, but that's what it's going to do. It's going to act like a big heat sink. A single clicky for operation. So basically take the battery, its optic is a diffuse type optic. There's no like a reflector in there. At least it's more of an optic which likes to diffuse the light, although it does have a little bit of throw. And the clicky. And this is the worm version, otherwise known as neutral white. A silicone holder. This seems to hold the light in position pretty good, although on my Pro version I actually had to get a new one of these, the holders, because I don't know, that particular one I had was always loose and the light would just as I was jogging or walking fast, it would just slide down. So I bought a new, it was like $3, and now the other light functions flawlessly, and this one does too. Maybe it was just one bad one, I don't know. I mean, nothing that killed the light, it just was a little bit loose in the fitting. But now they're both just fine. Very simple buckle type system to tighten it. Nothing overly complex. This has a little bit like a silver, looks like a retaining ring to hold the, I believe that's a glass window there. So that's it for that. All right, let's take a look at the user interface. One click will turn it right on. It comes on at the last mode used. So let's say it's at this mode. Click off, click on. That's one UI feature that I really like because it makes it basically, if I want it to be, it's a one mode light. Let's pan through all the modes. You saw it. So first, click and hold, gives me this low, 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 incredibly low moonlight mode. Next, push up, gives me kind of like a second moonlight mode. And we start to go into the general modes. I will, of course, put all the run times and the lumens up. Next, general mode. Highest. Now when I keep going through the modes, it'll default to the lowest general mode. When I click it off and I click and hold, it'll go back on to the moonlight mode. So that's kind of nice if I have the headlamp on like this. I'm looking for the best mode, but I don't want to drop back down to that low, low, low firefly mode. That's a rare thing that I hardly ever use. But if I really need the low, low, low firefly mode, I can just get it. Now here's an interesting feature. We'll push up one more mode. Access to the turbo mode, double click, that's really bright. Double click, goes back down to the last mode I used. So that's kind of that's cool, you know, and where I like that is if I'm in the woods. These woods are well, they're bear infested, I'll be honest. You know, and there's also lots of things I can trip on, lots of trees on the very edge. So if I'm hiking along and I want to just push it up, I can push it up very quick, drop it back down very quick. That's one thing I liked over the standard version than over the Pro version. The Pro version took 3 clicks, this one takes 2. So that's pretty cool. Let's go check out one more thing here. One feature that is almost a requirement for me for a headlamp is lockout. By lockout, if I twist the tail cap, it's out. I'll show you. Twist, out. A lot of times I'll turn it off as well. It may sound like an obvious thing, but you'd be surprised how many lights actually don't have a lockout, or you have to keep screwing it out until you're almost ready to pop beyond the O-rings. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm really hesitant to carry a flashlight, or for that matter a headlamp that doesn't have like a lockout feature. So this is an important thing I just wanted to show. So this is the headlamp that I carry in my adventure bag. I have the Pro version as well, but honestly, for what I do, I prefer the standard version. It's cheaper, a simpler UI. It doesn't have those disco modes like strobe and SOS or whatever that I don't use. I run protected lithium-ion batteries or any loops, so you know I don't really need to select the voltage, which you can do with the Pro, and I just prefer this UI. You know, personal preference, but both are fine. So you know, I'll put up a link to where you can get it. I bought this on sale, so keep your eyes out. A lot of times Armytek will sell the standard version on sale for a good discount. All right, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the lockout on. We'll actually put this back in its case because we gotta continue our hike. Let me get a chance to use this tonight. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to the night field testing part of this review and also the water test. Check it out. It did good, so let's get on over to that. What we're going to do to field test it, we're going to take it on a 5-mile road and dirt road jog. We've got reflectant, brightly colored vest on, survival kit, pepper spray, and we'll be using the A1 standard version. Once we hit the dirt roads, you should have a lot less traffic. There we go. Good dirt road. Here's what the modes look like at night. That's the lowest firefly. Here's the second firefly. Here's a low mode. Push it up again. That's the next mode. Again. Off. So we'll cycle through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, the upper modes are the ones you're going to see, because the lowest firefly is going to take, you know, kind of point blank range. Now let's take a look at the turbo. Go from this mode here. Double click. Whoa! That's the turbo mode. That's pretty impressive. Look at that. Double click. Drop us down to the previous mode. Double click pushes us back up. So it's nice to flood the environment with light should you need it. Look at that. That's awesome. Let's do the water test. We got some water right over here. Careful not to slip here. But that's definitely some water. So I guess what we'll do is we'll submerge this. Oh, bummer. Look who has a wet foot now. That sucks. Okay, the rest of my run's gonna be with a wet foot. All right, we'll submerge it in there, see what we get. Okay, all looks fine. We'll see if there's any water intrusion. Dry. Looks good. Put it back on, continue our run. And unfortunately, our wet foot. Kind of a bummer on that. The reason why I always do a dunk test in a light that's rated for it, it's not that I plan on going swimming with the light, but it's very possible I could drop it in a brook. It could be exposed to prolonged hard rain. So I kind of want to make sure I want to find out now that it's going to fail me. Although this light I've had for a while, I've already done this test, so I knew I wasn't going to have any problems. But I recommend you buy gear, throw in your pack, better make sure it can do what you expect. Let's go. I like this, the Armytek headlamps beam pattern. It's really good. And I enjoy the, I like the warm, which is really neutral white. I mean, their cool white's good too, but this is just my preference. We're running on turbo a little bit. Classic New England stone wall. Take a look at this for a minute. That's awesome. Here we see the glowing eyes. Of these spiders. Kind of a strange thing, but I guess they have eyes too. Kind of a steep hill here. I think I'll walk it. There's another one. It's like hunting for alligators. It's a lot smaller. Let's see what we got. All right, so we have 5.3 miles. That's not bad. The light definitely still got battery power. Passed the water test, so we're giving it a thumbs up. Okay, and that officially ends the review of the Armytek A1 regular model. If you like what you've seen, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and y'all have a great day. Actually, in this case, night.